Welcome everyone to the September 19th regular board meeting. Before we begin tonight, we would just like to send our best wishes to our superintendent, Dr. Sabo, who is focusing on her recovery right now. And we'd also like to thank our curriculum director, Christina Chesson, for filling in this evening. Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we fully discuss our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion resulting in action at the board meeting. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Orza.
Present.
Mr. Atwood is absent. Ms. Ballard.
Here. Mrs. Cole.
Present. Mrs. Rayburn.
Present.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving along in our agenda, item 1.04 is the adoption of this evening's agenda, and I'd like to make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda as written.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Mrs. Orza.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
Item 1.05 is the approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting for August 22nd. I'd like to motion to approve those minutes as written.
I'll second.
Mrs. Orza.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
Item 1.06 are the minutes from the committee meeting from September 10th, 2019. I'd also like to motion this for approval.
I'll second.
Mrs. Orza.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
And moving on to item number 2 is presentations for this evening. Mrs. Chesson?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm so pleased to be able to recognize Mrs. Patty Blackburn. If she would come down here so we can all join in celebrating her for her retirement. A round of applause for Patty. Patty Blackburn has dedicated nearly 20 years to the Norwood City School District in various capacities as a bowling, softball, and volleyball coach, an after-school program director, a stage manager, and a library aide at Sharpsburg in the middle school, and she did that job from 1992 to 2013. Since 2013, she has served as the Norwood Middle School secretary. Patty Blackburn is a proud Norwood grad herself, and also certainly proud of the fact that she is a mother of 3 outstanding Norwood graduates, Chris, Jeff, and Aaron. Inside and outside of the schools, Patty devotes her time and efforts to making the Norwood community a great one that it is. She is a long-standing member of the Norwood Businesswomen's Club and was involved in the PTA throughout her kids' school years. Patty does whatever it takes to make something better. That's her gift to Norwood. Her desire to do good work everywhere she goes is amazing. In every position, she gives 100%, and we're so proud to have worked with her. Patty Blackburn has and will always exemplify the best of what is Norwood. We're so grateful to you, Patty.
I want to give Patty a hug.
Yes.
I know.
I was one of her PTA. Thank you. You were my librarian at Sharpsburg a million years ago.
I know. Patty's reach is strong. We'll get a nice picture of all of you with her, if that's okay. That's right. So maybe you can come around.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just bad that, I mean, this is her legacy, all of us right here. Patty gave to all of us, and we've all learned to give back. We've all learned from Patty.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more just in case. 1, 2, 3.
We also want to acknowledge that Patty brought some of her family members with us tonight, so we appreciate you coming to celebrate her. And I know you know the gift that she is to your family, but she was that gift to all of us as individuals, as colleagues, and to the entire district. We are so grateful for Patty.
Well, my parents met here at Norwood High School. And then all of us kids, you know, went here. So we have a history at Norwood.
You do, you do. Thank you, Patty, for everything.
Okay, thank you.
And that concludes presentations for this evening.
Thank you, Mrs. Chesson.
Yeah, I know.
Pause for a moment if you'd like to. We won't make you stay, Patty. You
Catherine's
served
going
your
to take
time.
some pictures. Bye, Patty, thank you.
We'll release on good behavior.
We'll move on to item 3, which is the Education Committee report. Item 3.1 is the textbook adoption, and as we discussed at the committee meeting, this is a new textbook for us for the AP Human Geography text, the Cultural Landscape and Introduction to Human Geography. So can I please get a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Warza,
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
Item 3.02 is the approval of field trips. We have 4 this evening. The Norwood View 6th grade trip, Norwood Middle School 8th grade trip, Norwood Middle School 7th and 8th grade orchestra trip, as well as a trip at Sharpsburg Elementary 5th grade. These students will be going to respectively Camp Kern, Washington DC, Wilmington, and Camp Campbell.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Warza,
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
Item 4 on our list is personnel, and Mrs. Chesson, would you please lead in the recommendations?
Sure, thank you, Madam President. Our first item, 4.01, is a resignation. We have one resignation this evening for your consideration.
Okay, I'd like to motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Warza,
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
Item 4.02 is employment, and this evening we have a teacher employment, some supplemental contracts, and some additional supplemental contracts for after school, items 1 through 9.
Okay, I'd like to motion.
Mrs. Warza,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
Item 4.03 is the police department detail rate increase.
I'd like to motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Warza,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn.
Yes.
And that concludes personnel.
Thank you, Mrs. Chesson. Item 5 on our agenda this evening is the Policy Committee report. There are no new policies or revision of policies and regulations at this time. So we'll move on to item 6, Building and Grounds Committee report with Mrs. Debbie Cole.
Thank you, Madam President. For your review tonight, we have 9 requests for facilities. The first 3 are for Avenues for Success for our after-school programs. There are 3 because they're requesting each of our elementary schools. The View Cafeteria, Auditorium, Library, Sharpsburg Cafe, Gym, and Auditorium and Library. Sorry, I missed the art rooms as well. And then number 3, the Williams Cafeteria, Gym, Auditorium, Library, and Art Room also. So these are all school days from 8:21 to 5:22, from 3 to 6 p.m. These are level A requests. Number 4 is also Avenues for Success. This is the Lights On After School, also the Winter Sports Premiere Night. This takes place in the high school gym, Friday, November 22nd, from 3 to 10, level A. Number 5, also Avenues for Success, Glow for the Cure, on the high school practice field, Saturday, May 16th of 2020. The rain date would be Saturday, May 23rd, from 8 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. That's a level A. Number 6 is also an Avenues for Success request. This is Bounce Back to School on the middle school front lawn, Saturday, August the 1st, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., level A. Number 7, we have a request for Gym of the Highlands 5K. They're requesting the Sharpsburg Elementary parking lot for the parking for the race participants. This is Saturday, November 2nd, 2019, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They are requesting that we waive their fee because the money that they earn is donated back to the Norwood Parks. Number 8 for your consideration is the Norwood Police Department, the Police Candidate Agility Test. This is at Shea Stadium, and they're also requesting use of the locker rooms on Sunday, October 6, 2019, from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, we're requesting that the fee is waived, as we've always waived the fees for nonprofits. Level C requests on the agenda prior. And finally, number 9, Norwood Ready Kids, Early Education Parent Group, Norwood Strong Families. They're requesting 2 classrooms at View on various Tuesdays in October, November, March, and April from 3:20 p.m. to 6 p.m. And as you can see down on the agenda, they request 2 classrooms as childcare is provided in one classroom and the parents will meet in another classroom. So, can I get a motion to discuss?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
I think that we discussed all these fully. If there's nothing else, I think we're ready to take a vote.
Mrs. Orza?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn?
Yes.
Item 7 on the agenda is the Finance Committee report with our treasurer, Mrs. Julie Camphouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I do not have a Finance Committee report today, so I'm just going to go right into the agenda. 7.01, you'll see our financial reports attached for your review and approval. 7.02, the Hamilton County Auditor's official certificate, which is just our estimated revenues for the year. 7.03, appropriation resolution, our budget for the year. 7.04, pack van rental addition. This is just an addition to add the steps and the ramp costs that were added when we redid the plan. And 7.05, there's a new fund, 467-0000 for student wellness and success funding. 7.06, National Web Check Agreement, so that we can continue to offer BCI and FBI checks to our staff.
Thank you, Mrs. Camphouse. I'd like to motion to approve these items.
I'll second.
Mrs. Orza?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Rayburn?
Yes.
Moving on to item 8, hearing of the public. To further improve the communication between the community and the board, the time shall be allocated at each regular or special board meeting to hear public and/or representatives of school-related organizations. Public participation at committee meetings is limited to those invited to speak on specific issues. Each person addressing the board should fill out a form listing name, address, agenda, or non-agenda item and hand the form to the board president. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to address the board, and no more than 15 minutes will be devoted to any one topic unless a majority of the board votes to continue the discussion. Speakers may offer such objective criticism of school operations as concerns them. However, the board will not hear personal complaints of school personnel or complaints against any person connected with the district. Concerns and comments about individuals should be brought to the attention of the administration. This was approved January 17th, 2019. This evening we have Mrs. Alice Rarica to speak on the Gem of the Highlands 5K run. As she runs.
In my moccasins. Hello, board. Hello, everyone, and everyone in TV FB land. I'm Alice Rarica. I'm on the Gem of the Highlands 5K board. We got these handy dandy cards today. They're tiny, but here's the shirt too. The run is November 2nd, Saturday morning. We are now in the process of making all this stuff happen. It's very exciting. So we're looking for volunteers. So I'm here to say to people out in FB and TV land, come volunteer if you need hours. If you have a group, I know like the orchestra wants to go to Branson and the Silhouettes want to go on a cruise, right? If we get a group together, we can compensate that group for their volunteer time. We discussed it at the meeting this morning. We don't know how many or how much we'll compensate just yet because I said it and they all said yay, and the meeting's now. So those details are to come, but if you would like to volunteer, you can check them out at norwoodrun.com. Gem of the Highlands 5K on Facebook or Gem of the Highlands 5K at gmail.com. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and I want to say happy retirement to Patty Blackburn too, because she's the best bingo caller for Women's Club. I know she's gone already, but.
Moving on to reports on the agenda, item 9.01 are the board announcements. Anyone have anything they'd like to share this evening?
I do have a report.
Okay.
All right. So for Great Oaks report, oh wait, for announcements.
For announcements.
So
Board announcements.
Alice, since you brought that to my attention, I was literally approached by one of the color guard girls today looking to raise money for their uniforms and some upgrades there. And I just said, you know what, I think, you know, we can maybe partner with Silhouettes or somebody knows some folks who are looking for volunteers. I'm going to pass that along to Color Guard, and that might be a really good opportunity for you. So that was a perfect segue, so thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? There's no superintendent's report for this evening. 9.03 is the Great Oaks report. Ms. Ballard?
Well, thank you. So over the summer, we were quite busy at the Oaks doing some major improvements, starting out our construction for our Laurel building. We were approving open enrollment for the district so that a lot of the districts that live very close to one of our 4 campuses, due to their county location, have been forced to go to other technical facilities. They'll now have the opportunity to go right down the street to their own local building for tech services. We know that the report cards came out this past week. Oaks is proud to report that we got an improved rating for most categories with a B overall, and that 99% of the students that attend an Oaks program graduate in their 4-year cohort. So that is a really excellent number for our students. We've also approved CPC, which is our College Credit Plus programming for the 19 and 20 school year, so that kids who are there don't have to miss out on the opportunity to take, you know, things like algebra or English that are going to prep them for college credits. And then upcoming on October 19th at 10 a.m., we are going to be hosting a public auction near our district office at 3254 East Kemper Road. And there's a preview available at 8 a.m. and this is going to feature furniture and equipment that we are phasing out, and we're going to be doing some new items. So anybody that you know that may be interested in, you know, bulk design for a business or you know, looking for something to outfit their church or something like that, there might be some really interesting pieces and group sets for you guys to outfit. And again, that's October 19th at 10 a.m. And that concludes my report for today.
Thank you, Ms. Ballard.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the Avenues for Success report. Laura Ferguson and her team have been really busy preparing for the school year, and one of the things that they're doing is focusing on a rebranding effort. And so I think that everybody will be really impressed with her new logos and new flyers and things that will be accompanying all of the activities that are coming out this school year. They are having, again, this was something that was put on hold last year, but the Parent Advisory Council and Student Advisory Council, students in grades 4 to 12 as well as their families are invited to attend, and it's a great way to help Laura out and give ideas and kind of share in the workload a little bit as far as the thought process and ideas go into moving avenues for success throughout the school year. They're also receiving club proposals at this time from teachers and community members, and those clubs will begin really soon. I know everybody's very excited. They'll begin on October 7th, and that concludes the Avenues for Success report. We'll move on to the legislative report with Mrs. Sally Raper.
Thank you. There's a bill being introduced that would require all schools in Ohio to provide instruction on sexual abuse prevention for grades K through 6, as well as sexual violence prevention for grades 7 through 12. This is a bill, however, that's been introduced several times before and has yet to pass. But the hope is that there's kind of renewed interest in that, and that they might be able to get it through this time. Also, the Department of Education has launched a student wellness and success webpage that goes along with the new funding that Ms. Camphouse had mentioned earlier. It has lots of frequently asked questions, resources about the funding for school districts to be able to access. And then lastly, the College Board, who is the organization that oversees the SAT, has decided they were going to include what they called an adversity score, which was just kind of a one-off score that combined a few different factors that they would supply to colleges with applications. However, they are going to, instead of that, give a more kind of overall picture, environmental information about a student's, neighborhood, including percentage of free and reduced lunches at their school district, as well as the median income of their neighborhood. So that should hopefully be a little more comprehensive than just a single score. And that concludes the legislative report.
Thank you. Item 10 is meeting notification and approval of future meetings for item 10.01. We have on our schedule a committee meeting for Tuesday, October 9th at the board office, and a regular board meeting Thursday, October 17th here in the mini auditorium at the high school, 2020 Sherman Avenue.
October 8th.
Tuesday, October 8th. Did I?
You said 9th. I was just making sure. I was checking to make sure.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been.
I'll motion to approve the future meetings.
I'll second.
Mrs. Orza?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Raber?
Yes.
We have no items removed for separate consideration. And at this time, we would like to enter into executive session.
I will motion to enter into executive session.
I'll second.
We're gonna,
I'll read the
we need
items.
to read the
Yeah.
thing.
In accordance with ORC 121.22G1, the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, as well as in accordance with ORC 121.22G4, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation. In accordance with ORC 121.22G81, the information is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under the statute set forth in RC 121.22G81, or involves public infrastructure improvements or the extension of utility services that are directly, nope, we didn't. I had that highlighted, and it's not highlighted. Discounts in accordance with ORC 121.22G81. We're just approving ORC 121.22G1 and 121.22G4.
Correct.
Thank you.
Who motioned?
Motion
Amber
second.
motion,
Thank you.
Sally second.
Or if you, sure. Mrs. Warza?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Raver?
Yes.
Thank you.